Hello, I'm Clyde Morris. Welcome to Morris Park. I'm here with my co-host today, Diesel, who's kind of the reason for this video. We got Diesel about 3 years ago, and he proved to be quite the destructive dog on anything we tried to plant in the dog yard and pretty much anything else in the yard. He's destroyed many things. He's a bad dog. Hi, Diesel. Anyhow, I wanted to show you some plants that are dog resistant. This is Euphorbia evansii. I've had this plant about 35 years. As you notice, it's kind of a tree-like form. It's one of the Transvaal South African tree euphorbias. It has these little hard paired spines, which help resist Diesel very well. Most any plant that's been in this yard, he has chewed apart and eaten. This plant he has not touched. You don't want a plant really for this application to have spines that come off, break off easily, such as opuntias, cylindropuntias. Any kind of those prickly pears of choias or anything would not be good for this application because they break apart too easily and the spines may be dangerous for the dogs. And not only the spines, they have little tiny glow kids that get caught in everything, and you wouldn't want that caught in your dog's nose or anything like that. This type of plant will not do that. It has these hard little horned spines to it. They don't break off, and it also has a second defense, and I've witnessed this myself. My dog has walked up to this plant before, sniffed it, looked at me in disgust, and walked off from it. I believe this is due to the latex sap that's in the plant. As we well know, people that have dealt with euphorbias will know this anyway. Some of these euphorbias have a stinky sap. I believe he can smell this one. I've never smelled this one personally, but I believe he can probably smell this and probably does not want to deal with it because of the sap also. The second plant I have over here, Echinocactus grusonii, very commonly known as the golden barrel. This is a pretty large one. As you see, it's covered in those long spines. Now these spines don't break off very easily. They're pretty hard, but having a coating of them definitely deters the dog. He has put his nose just up to it. He's never poked himself or anything, but he knows that this is covered in spines. It's not something he wants to deal with. I've had this plant quite a while. Bought it at Walmart as a small 6-inch round plant maybe for about $13. Grown to be quite the size, about the size of a basketball now. Beautiful plant. Has always done well. I've had it out here the last 3 years as the anti-dog plant. Another plant we have here is, you may notice, the crown of thorns. This plant is about 36 years old. I got it at a nursery I used to work at in Arcadia, California, known as Live Oak Gardens. It's not there anymore. As far as I know, they built apartments on top of it. But this was just a little leftover scraggly plant that was stuck in our greenhouse full of epiphyllums. When I asked the owner what kind of price to put on it, she said, take it home. So I took it home and trained it into a tree. Now you'll notice this has the same little thorns on it, hence crown of thorns, of course. He's never bothered this plant, never tried to chew it up, has left it alone, and it's done very well. If you notice, I've turned this plant into a tree because these things are real ramblers. They're just like a briar. They go everywhere. So what I did is years ago started wrapping it around an aluminum rod, which you can see here at the base, and then started twisting it. And you can see ties here and there where I've tied it off so it'll stay in place. Every once in a while I'll remove these ties as the plant grows. Also, you'll notice behind it, when the aluminum bar wouldn't support it anymore, I put a piece of rebar in there. That'll do it. And it's held it up quite well. And then behind that you'll notice another piece of rebar, and that's where the plant's tied off to for the summer, because we get some storms here in the Ozarks. They get quite nasty, and it'll blow this plant right across the yard. If you look behind a lot of these plants, you'll see a tie behind them. So when that wind comes in, it's not going to knock them over. Another plant I have here, Pachypodium gayi, one of the Madagascar palms. And as you can see, again, long thorns. These won't come off easily. They're on the plant. They're to stay, but it provides a armored defense against a chewing dog. I've had this plant, probably 22 years. Bought it at Walmart. It was about 1.5 feet tall, I guess. And now it's grown into quite the tree and has actually branched here and there. I've got another small branch coming out on it. It kind of branches strange. And then these long grayish leaves. That's what separates it from the other common Pachypodium everybody gets, Lemuri. I kind of prefer the gray one. Gayi, I think, is a more attractive plant. The next set of plants I have is a Phaerocactus. And I'm not sure, I think this might be a Canthodus, I'm not quite sure. And an Echinocactus glaucescens. Both have large thorns, ones that won't break off, and you don't have to worry about. The next one I have in line, Agave parasana. Notice it has these long thorns, kind of keeps a dog's nose out of things. I've had this quite a while. It's done very well in here. No problems. Some of the other shrubs we have is these barberries. As you notice, they have little thorns everywhere. He doesn't seem to try to chew these at all. They do very well. Not much problem. The thing he did like to eat was our thornless blackberry. And as I say, thornless. And for a couple of years there, he chewed it down pretty good. See, it's loaded with berries right now, getting ready to ripen up. The other plant, which he battled with for a few years, the plant finally won. Campsis radicans. This is a yellow version of the native plant we have here. That is a red trumpet vine. This is a yellow one. Took it several years to get going. He stripped it the first couple of years. Anything that would hang down, he stripped it off. But finally it's grown to the point where it's growing faster than he could strip it. And he kind of leaves it alone now. But if you can find a plant that grows faster than they can eat them, then maybe they can outgrow their pace. Another plant, I'll show you, Euphorbia pseudocactus. This plant is a plant that I had grow from seed by itself. I heard the mother plant launched the seed back in 1986. As you know, euphorbias have explosive seed capsules and they throw their seed everywhere. This I ended up finding months later growing in a pot with another cactus, a small euphorbia seedling. And I knew what it was. The plant that it came from, the mother plant, was a branch cutting plant and never grew in a normal manner. Some euphorbias won't, or else you have to do a two-step cutting method on them. Like my Euphorbia evansii, when I bought it, it was a cutting plant, and I had to do a two-step cutting method to get it to turn into a tree. Otherwise, they just grow longer and misshapen. This one has the typical shape. It grows from a central stem, which you can't hardly see because it's covered in these spiny branches. Again, thorns. They're very well seated in the plant and don't break off easily. Also having a sap as a second defense, he's never bothered this plant. The other plant I want to show you is a plant to plant with caution. This is a blue wisteria. I believe it's Wisteria chinensis, I believe, a variety of. If you plant this plant, watch out, because it eats everything in its path. Now, he's had a lot of fun with this plant, and yes, he has chewed it up. But usually in the winter, when he can see the twigs and sticks, and he gets bored and has nothing to do, he'll grab branches off of it, break them off, and carry them around the yard proudly. That he's got his little prize, and he's chewing on it. Fortunately, this plant can grow faster than he can chew it up. It has outpaced him wonderfully, to the point of almost eating one of our barberries. Gotta watch this plant. I gotta get in there and cut that out, by the way. We have a second pink one across the way near the swing that has already eaten a Rose of Sharon shrub. So watch where you plant them. But they are very tough, and they will take a beating. And once you get them planted, the only thing you got to do is trim them back or beat them back with a stick, whichever. Don't get too close. I think they might grab you and take you themselves. But anyway, I just wanted to share these dog-resistant plants with you. And if you have a bad dog and you have problems with them eating all your plants, try some of these. They may be your best bet. Thank you for watching. Bye for now from Morris Park. This is Clyde. Bye-bye.